Room, the only way to start your day.
I know you.
I was laying a wreath on Baba's grave yesterday. And, that was a duty.
Oh, duty.
Sense of patriotism.
Oh, wow.
Bas. Good.
Oh, that's good.
Pod of Farm has been very busy.
It has been a busy one. Joining us as well is the Secretary of Planning and Economic Affairs, DCP, Dr. Peter Mbai. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Good
How are you doing?
Very well. I'm well.
Good to see you too.
Good to see you and all the dances. And good, we're here.
Karibu sana.
Did you notice our dress code? Two of us. Have you noticed?
You're wearing red, well, some derivative of
gray
red
suits.
grey suits
I
and
was
red
telling
ties.
Evelyn that when you have great minds,
I have a suit exactly like
On
this.
a Monday morning.
I've never seen you with it.
On a Monday morning. You have to be set for
Same
you have to
suits,
set you have to set the mind for the week.
the ties,
Power, you know.
and you're both doctors.
You see?
Wow.
You see now? Good.
Fantastic. We're glad that you're both
as
here.
well just leave.
leave us now. Leave us run the show. No. You do your part.
No,
Do your
I mean,
part.
the more you get these things, the more you want to share. And by the way, it comes with humility. The more you begin seeing someone saying, you know, I'm learned, I have a PhD, then no. Most probably he's not. Most probably he's not.
Okay, well, that's great because we've come off an hour where we're having a conversation about the real situation in the country, talking about what the real situation is, not all the political shenanigans that we have been seeing over the last few years, and then also going into a period where it's going to be quite interesting. So we're going to get into that conversation today. So one does hope that your guns are loosened from their holsters. Dennis is going to welcome us first. He's taking us to a different country this week. We'd love to hear that proverb and your interpretation.
Yeah, and we are in Mauritania now, a country that is rich in iron ore, gold, copper, fish and oil. Now, agriculture and herding supports much of the rural population, and it is a high poverty rate country, and income inequality is something that as well exists in the country. But the proverb that we get from Mauritania, the camel does not see the crookedness of its own neck. The camel does not see the crookedness of its own neck. Dr. Mbai, how would you interpret that?
It doesn't see of its crookedness, so that means that or rather the message there is sometimes you don't have to believe in yourself 100% that you are right and you are good and you are straight and you know everything, because there's something you don't know about yourself. So that calls for, if somebody stops you and says, excuse me, can I tell you something about yourself, or there's something I noticed, can you change? I think that's where we come in to say it's not everything I know about myself. I need someone else to come and tell me what they think about me, and I should take it seriously because I don't have a whole view of myself.
Dr.
The camel knows that is physique, and therefore it does not bother it whether you think it's crooked or not. That's what makes it a camel. So it's okay the way it is.
Niko tu sawa. Your opinion is your own.
Yeah.
This is me and my neck. That's great. The camel is just fine.
Yeah.
It's just fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so maybe one or two things that are not just fine is that the country seems to be held captive audience to a small group of individuals who seem to be doing their thing. And this is the politics of the day, that there are people who seem to be jostling for spots and positions, and maybe not necessarily fighting for the position of the people of Kenya. So let's look into what we are seeing. There are political parties who say, okay, somebody should not be speaking, others should speak. The young should give the old the opportunity to talk through their experience. Others say, well, not really. Allow those who are in this position to express their rights in one way or another. But right now, we seem to be in the throes of a situation whereby folks are jostling to see who will retain or who will then grab seats for the future. What would be, or start with you, Dr. Olo, as we see things progressing, the pivotal moment for all of this progressing to the point where they are currently and where they will be futurely was the unfortunate death of Raila Odinga. After that, everybody seems to be saying, okay, so where are we going? It's like rats on a ship scrambling about to see whether they will make it or they will find themselves into the deep blue sea.
Yeah. First of all, it would be a good thing to start by saying that I want to extend my empathies with people in Tanzania, because what is happening in Tanzania is unacceptable. The death of many people in Tanzania is a sign of what ails us as a region. And if this is what we want of East Africa, then the examples we are seeing coming out of Tanzania can only make us worried as a people who are facing an election in another 2 years or so. Worried because bad manners tend to be more apt, more copied than good manners. And that's what our African leaders do. So back to ourselves, again, talking about political hygiene and political manners. There is a fallacy going around among some ODM's primos that all they need to do is to jostle and take over ODM. And what they don't understand is that ODM was Baba and Baba was ODM, and the spirit of Baba in ODM is irreplaceable. That you don't just go and take over ODM and you think now you have a party. It is the spirit of that party. And the Baba, the way he's carried around that party, it is about Raila. It's not about the party. And so you can't jostle to replace him in a manner in which I've seen some people say in, their leaders in ODM, they are talking as if it's pieces they can run away from or some clothes they can just fit and take on. Having said that, when you look at Baba and you look at, say, even William Ruto, their political machinery or their ability to run politics is founded on their ability to mobilize and ability to make belief. So if you can't have that ability, it does not matter what you do. You can have a party, you can pronounce yourself, proclaim yourself, but that doesn't make you the leader. So what we are seeing in ODM, for example, is a situation where people think that power is inherited, that power is given. Power, you either fight into it or you take over. If you look at Baba's political life, he was either fighting for the spirit of Ford Kenya, leaving it, forming another one in NDP, leaving it, working with it to KANU, leaving KANU, working with it to LDP, forming NAC, leaving it, and so on. So you need to see the political movement around an individual's aspirations and individual's, perspectives and vision. So it's not just about occupying a space. It is about what you bring to that space, how you organize yourself, and how you organize constituents around you. An example, look at Kalonzo Musyoka. He's been around. He's in the original ODM. He formed ODM Kenya. He left ODM Kenya. He's with Wiper. Does he have his ground? Yes, he has his ground. Does he have his constituency? Yes, he has his constituency. So he's building it up as he goes. So you can't say you can take over Wiper and it will be the same thing. So our politics have a personality around them, have some history with them, and there's a reflection of what the leadership is about. So let us get this going so that we are able to appreciate.
But isn't this a special circumstance? And isn't it also true that power is not given, it's taken?
Yes. And that's the point.
You don't wait for you to be told or appointed. You just need to go in, take your stake, and run with it.
Precisely, and that's what I'm saying. So it's not how much you shout that you are around, you are this, you are that. It's what is your ability to maneuver and to actually aim at a stake and get it. That's the ability. So when you look at CCM, for example, the Nyerere spirit around CCM has been around for quite a while. We are now beginning to see it desecrated. What we've seen in Tanzania this time around is really a desecration of that spirit. And that will mean that the CCM we knew will actually take a nosedive, because the ethos that made it survive, the values that made it survive, have just been thrown out of the window, out of these elections. This, I don't want to even call it elections. This drama that just happened in Tanzania.
Coronation.
Even coronation is better. Coronation, you can bring around villagers and the kings or kingpins, and then they can say, this is our leader. But you don't have to massacre. You don't have to jail people. You don't have to, grab all the space and shut the media in order for you to establish your leadership. That is where the mistakes are, and perhaps that's what we need to be very clear. So if people in ODM or people around the party don't see what is happening, it is not how you shout. I saw John Mbadi shouting at the funeral, and he thought that the more he shouted, the more convincing.
The harder home the message went.
No, it's more than that.
Dr. Mbai, are we looking at a situation where other parties are feeling as though, okay, suddenly everybody's talking about ODM? The president himself has been invited to come back to the party, and he said, we want to corral this thing and make sure that this party, which now seems to be leader-led, we need to bring it into the fold. Are other parties feeling, okay, why is all the attention going that way?
Thank you. Allow me very quickly to say we stand with the people of Tanzania. It's unfortunate we have unconfirmed reports, which we don't know how many casualties may have been involved. That's something which is very, very sad. And I want to say from the word go, if Tanzania is not safe, we are not safe. The first casualties, the first people to suffer is ourselves because of the imports, exports, traders, people in the hospitality industry. I sit in the economic planning of the party, and we do analysis every day. We have data. A lot of people, hundreds of thousands of Kenyans work in Tanzania, and they are going to be affected definitely. No, they are going to be already being affected, and they are going to be rid of if this thing persists. So number one, but close to home, in West Pokot, a lot of people have died. Yeah, I think confirmed almost 30 now out of the red states. Really, our condolences also to the families. But let me quickly add, please, let's not be very quick to manage conflicts and issues. Let's try to be preventing. If we know areas are prone to landslides, can we do mapping? Can we try to move? You could see some of these people are actually patched on top of forest or something like that. So let's do that also. Be proactive, so we don't avoid. We avoid situations where we really have to have things happening, then we really come out and begin saying what did it happen. The issue of prevention other than management is very important. But coming to your issue, I'll tell you this: our aim as Kenya is to go to the CCM way, ANC, where parties grow. Unfortunately, CCM is another story of another day, where you can actually be the leader, but you can be dethroned by your party, like we saw happen in the ANC. We need strong parties. But now, coming back home, parties rally around personalities, individuals. Okay. Now, with Baba gone, this is what is going to happen. You don't need a coronation or some ceremony to be told you are the new leader. It is the individual who will emerge, who will move with the people. Leave ODM as a shell. That's what is going to happen. The whole issue here is, can ODM last even one more year without a Baba? It will depend on two things. How would they? It's a very unique thing because their founder is not there. So they have to make sure there's something very unique, which I don't see. What do I mean? One, they have a choice of going to say this is a family issue. That's the route they have taken by putting Dr. Oboru there. Or say, can we look among the deputy party leaders and other people emerging, give them a chance. ODM can last. But as you speak now, this is what is going to happen. A leader will emerge, take over all the people of ODM, go on to another formation or a party. What is important is not the party name; it is the people. I'll tell you this: when the current president was in Kano, right? He was supposed to inherit the Moi, the Karejin team. He was not invited, and there was no welcome. So what did he do? The guy just moved on with the people, and moved on with them, and left the team back. So he moved on with the Karejin community, moved on to other parties like 5 or 10 of them every day, and moved the people. There was no coronation of now. The king has exited politics. So can we have the next person to take over the Karejin community? He just went. So what's going to happen now here? And because we are good students of political history, somebody will emerge, Babu Owino, somebody else, just take the people. Sifuna, take the people, and ODM will be left as a shell.
I mean, when you talk about it like that, one would say that all political parties, as much as we have the figureheads, those who are ruling it, it belongs to the people in terms of the party members during the NDCs. They come together and make the decision. But Dr. there is a feeling as if even when the NDCs do take place, when the members turn in to make decisions, it's inconsequential because we know who leads the party. How do we deal with that problem such that we know this political party stands for this, and the strongest power and the strongest direction it gets, it's from the members and not the person who's the party leader?
You know, there is our history that we need to understand, and our history, the best way to go back to it is KANU. There were two parties, KANU and KADU at independence, and we know how KANU swallowed KADU, and therefore we went into single party. But there is also a history where we have always associated a party either with the government or with a person. So for a long time, KANU was Moi and Moi was KANU. And then he made it, at some point he wanted KANU to be more stronger than the government, and he wanted it to swallow everything that was around. He tried Maendeleo ya Wanawake, it was swallowed for a while. He tried even anything that was organized, wanted to be part of KANU. So there was that movement. And for a long time, KANU began to be both a government, both a political wing, and so on. So it became something other than a political party. Exit KANU, and then we begin to see other formations. KANU goes, NAC arrives. NAC never lasted one term. Then PNU arrived. PNU never lasted one term. And then we saw, before Azimio, we saw CORD. CORD never lasted one term. Then we've seen Azimio, then Jubilee, then we've seen. So the way we can see our movements around political parties, it has nothing to do with the organic growth of political parties. Forget about the political parties act. Forget about it. It is the political individuals act we need. Because these individuals move with the people, move with their politics and so on. Look at William. William has been in every party. He was in KANU, he was in UDM, he was in URP, he was in Jubilee, now he's in UDA.
He was in ODM?
He was in ODM. Actually, we were founder members of ODM. And I'm one of the founder members of ODM. So it is about individuals defining what political parties will look like or what our politics will look like. The more shrewd, the more you are able to mobilize. And we have not said the other fact. It's not about people. It's your ethnic bloc, your region. If you can move with it, you are in place. That's why DCP is necessary in a region where there is a political movement happening. That's why WIPA is necessary in a region where there is a political movement. And that's why ODM now, people are very worried, because what is it going to be? Is it going to be reduced to a regional party? Because right now it has a national. Remember, it was celebrating 20 years. It is celebrating 20 years. Perhaps the longest political party around. Other political parties, nothing. And if there's any political party that has tried to do election, maybe it's ODM. None of those other parties I've mentioned have ever done an election. Not URP, not UDA, not Jubilee, everything else is like sham. It's like,
and some of them are still new, baby, baby. DCP still very new. So maybe they, and that's why I asked the question earlier. Are these other parties, whether they've come about as a result of splits to then have formations like DCP? DCP has come into the fray as a party under the auspices of the former deputy president. One could easily say that had he not been impeached, DCP would not exist.
I'll tell you this and we'll start with that. First of all, we wish well for ODM, and the only problem, we have some other people who are outside ODM who are more interested with ODM than even the members, saying, I'm a founder member, I can discipline you, and then saying, I will make sure that you don't go to opposition. Like really? You are a founder member 15 years ago. You want to come and show the whole problem with ODM in a nutshell is the interference of people who are outside ODM, who wants to kill it and who want to control it, and who they want to use it as some kind of plan for their 2027. And that's the biggest issue with ODM. Others, we wish them well, and because why not? If they have done 20, they can do as well 30 years anniversary or 50. But I can tell you, pitfalls are there now. DCP, there's no regret at all with the issue of impeachment of the second deputy president. I'll tell you the truth, historically. There are no regrets. Actually, from today, I want to tell all people, never ever to regret saying that why people voted for the current president. The current president is okay. He was supposed to come there. He came up with his own plan of how he was going to deal with the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. He knew very well he needed Rigathi Gachagua to win the votes. Okay? You remember that tussle between Professor Kindiki and Rigathi Gachagua. He knew that if I put Kindiki line now, I will not win, because he doesn't have the punch to make me win. So what did he do? He planned that I'll put Rigathi Gachagua here with the purpose of getting him down. It was a plan. Nothing happened by accident. So for the people around the second deputy president, it was therefore good for this to happen. So God knew this, because as we didn't know, we were purely 9 out of 10 purely conned, deceived properly and betrayed. So we didn't know. So we supported him in good faith. It's going to work. So, but God knew. So what did God do? Because he knew this man is going to behave this way. I'm going to expose him very early so people can know him and plan against him towards 2027, make him one term so that he doesn't destabilize again.
Oh, this was God's plan.
God knew this. We didn't know.
Okay.
Some people knew. Some of us didn't know. We voted him, but God knew that he was going to expose him very early, so people can know him. Then we can governance the way we are doing, so that by 27, imagine what would happen if the president was not elected. He would be all over the place here, telling us how you lost an angel. You see, you lost an angel. But now, once Kenyans do away with the president in 2027, that will be done. Because he will not come back to tell us anything. Because he had the opportunity to do it. So what happens? An opportunity therefore comes. Because two things that messed the Mount Kenya area is one, going to the government without a party. We were duped properly. But a month to elections, Alfred Mutua comes with an MOU. Pa comes with an MOU. Mudavadi comes with an MOU. We were properly duped, I must admit today. But that is in the past. So therefore, DCP came at the right time to cure one thing, the issue on the party, going there with the party. But number two, the quality of leaders. Because if we had such good leaders from the mountain, they would have gone to the president and say, hey man, even if we had our own differences with the Rigiji, it has not come to a point of impeachment. That's why we have only a few. Akina Senator Medu and others, about 15 or 20, right? Who stood with the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. So the second thing we are curing through DCP is get quality leaders, therefore, and I can tell you today, we are going to have over 115 to 120 members of parliament. We are going to have a majority of senators and governors from DCP and the united opposition in the next government, because we want to cure that issue. So DCP
What issue do you want to cure?
The issue of, one, going without a party. We have a party now. And secondly, the issue of quality leaders who will have their loyalty, one, to the people who elected them, and number two, to the legion before we go to the nation.
Why is it necessary for the region to have a party if it can align itself with other parties of like-mindedness?
First of all, let me clear something then. DCP is not a regional party. And you see the results.
You just said it.
No, I just said this. There's nothing wrong, Dennis. There's nothing wrong with regional mobilization. There's nothing wrong. Let me repeat it. There's nothing wrong. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with a party which has more weight on some area. Every party is Wiper is a national party. It has members in coast and everywhere.
But it's core.
Yes, you do regional mobilization towards a national cause. There's nothing wrong. I'll repeat this issue. Dennis of every day being told, oh, you are a regional party. There's nothing like that. There's nothing wrong with people organizing themselves regionally to come to a national cause. I want to speak from the word go. And you're going to see results. We are going to have members vying in this direction. From Coast on DCP, from Masailand winning on seats, or from Kakamega winning seats on DCP. So I want to clear that. What happens when people come together, therefore, you go to a national cause. You say, you have these parties. What do you have? Because people are mobilized regionally. I didn't say ethnically. I'm choosing my words very clearly, but regionally. Regionally means many things, because you can have someone with ODM winning a seat in Northeastern, on ODM winning a seat in Coast, on ODM winning a seat in Rift Valley, because the parties are national. But there's nothing problem, and please, let's not buy the narrative by the state. Oh, tribal parties. Oh, that person is tribal. There's nothing like that. Let me tell you, everybody knew Rigathi Gachagua was purely majorly, let me say the word majorly, mobilizing from Mount Kenya. Then he was not a tribalist. But then when he comes here and gets out to get a party, then he becomes a tribalist. Let's stop this kind of things even nationally ourselves, so that we can move forward. Let's deal with the issues that are important. Not, the narrative, that one is a tribalist. I don't believe so. Let's go beyond that. So yes, DCP came at the right time because of the betrayal, conmanship and deceit that was acted on by the president on the people of Mount Kenya and beyond. So that you start from where you are, then you go and bide. And you have not seen anything yet. Let me tell you, the kind of movement that's coming up. People have been talking about all this region, but we have other regions today. We have the Eastern Bloc. We have Kisii. We have Masai. We have Western. We have people from Northeastern. Now we have people from Coast and Rift Valley. We are going to come up with a very big block, including Luo Nyanza. You see, Dr. here. Dr. is one of the best brains ever on this earth. And you see, Dr. don't get lost. They don't get twisted. He is planning something, and Daktari knows where the wave is going.
Okay.
Going ahead down by next year, we are going to have a movement like 2002, a big movement. And do you know why 2002 happens? People get scared that there is somebody, there's an opponent we must all gang, against, and that's what's going to happen.
I wanted to buttress this point by saying that we need also to understand our politics. When he says regional, it's not ethnic.
That's it.
Tom Mboya was a man who commanded respect across, especially Central.
Yes.
And he was not ethnically Central. For a long time, there was a Luo councillor in Muranga called Councillor Luoch. He was elected. The other day we saw an Asian elected in Meru. We've seen Shakil Shabir in Kisumu elected by the people. Junet in Migori and so on. So there is a way in which we need to understand regional politics are separate from ethnic politics. All you need to do is to be able to get to be in the mood. You've seen Kisi, this other guy there, I forget the name, but he's not a pure Kisi by extraction. Yeah. So these are, you just need to understand the dynamics of what we're talking about, and we understand our elections. So organizing regionally is not a problem.
Okay.
I keep saying that you need to look at Switzerland and Germany, when you're looking at their county or devolved systems.
With the cantons.
Cantons are actually, represent ethnic interests.
Yes,
so
they do.
French canton, Italian canton, a German canton, and it's like that. You can't go there and try and change it. When you look at the devolved system in Germany, it is based on regional interests.
However, Doctor,
Yes.
one thing that reigns supreme even amongst the cantons is that they will come together,
Yes.
even from the regions, on issues.
Yes.
They will agree that there will not be wanton waste of resources. They will agree that even the leaders that they come together to decide upon who will now lead them, they know that these people are worth their weight in salt. They know that they will then go and represent the people. That's why public participation needs to actually go and be studied in Switzerland, because they know that the people that they put in these positions are actually going to do the work that they are putting them in to do, which was going to form my next question. That
As you
all
say
of
that
these
before that
people-
one, it's because also they have insulated it in the law.
There you go.
Yes.
And they
So
actually
that
follow it.
Yes, and they follow the law.
Yes.
Even in this country, for example, we have very good laws, including the very good constitution. The other bit is political hygiene. But then ask the next question.
So the many people that are going to form this, what did you say it was? It's a thunder. No, that was Musalim David. There was something else you said that's coming in some
He may
big
say that
thing.
earthquake is coming, but he may say the big movement is coming.
Okay, thanks. That big one, is it made up of these people who want to actually be in positions whereby they do things like the Swiss? And I would like to start with you, Dr. Oloda. How can we be sure? How can Kenyans be sure that folks who are coming out to say that they want this position, we are going to form 100 and something members of parliament, for themselves or for Kenya?
Wait. Political parties organize to take power.
Yes.
What you heard from Daktari is that they are organizing to grab Senate seats, grab National Assembly seats, and governor seats.
Yep.
That's what political parties exist for.
Yes.
They want to get that because they want to have a national say. Again, that's what they exist for. Are politics about interests? Absolutely. So are my interests, for example, going to be different from these other densities' interests? Absolutely. Can we converge? Can our interests converge? Yes. And then we form a coalition. And if we can form a coalition, then we can propagate an interest. This country, no one party can win without a coalition. And that we have agreed. The days of KANU are long gone. ODM has tried before, but now we know you have to have coalition of interests, coalition of regions, coalition of blocks. So that is the only way you come to it. So if you look at now what's happening, out Mount Kenya region, what is Kenya Kwanza trying to do? Trying to woo Nyanza, trying to woo Western, so that you can make some promises. I don't know how many other promises you can make, but that is the point. So DCP and any other, Wiper and the United Opposition, must also look out and say, well, how are our interests best safeguarded? Number one, it's best safeguarded if they can pull together and draw up a broad-based agenda, not broad-based government, and that broad-based agenda can be sold across regions. So that at the end of it, 2027 will be won by the person who then, or the groups that bring the best coalitions together, the best groupings together, with their interests. Not that people are coming to come into that table without interest. No, it's the game of knives. Everyone must come with their knife to be sharp enough to cut a piece of this cake that they are forming.
How much leverage do you extend? And because we're looking at, well, single parties, this DCP, there is Wiper, there is DP, there is Wiper. So all these parties have interests. And the interests from each individual political party, in my understanding, going through history, is one, you want to galvanize then your region. Maliko na ushawishi. Bring the numbers to the table. And like you said earlier, the reason why Rigathi Gachagua was made deputy president is because Ruto saw him and saw numbers compared to Kindiki, correct? So it's a question of what number of votes are you bringing, who are you coming with to the table. But now when you get into an alliance, you get into then a coalition, we are starting to see a situation through these upcoming by-elections, a situation where, for example, there's a contest. You have 2 or 3 individuals who are very, very strong. They have their own numbers. They're coming from 3 different parties. But negotiations then are done behind the doors that, look, let's rally behind this one individual who belongs to a particular party, but then being supported by the united opposition. How much leverage do you extend to the degree that there are parties that will feel slighted? Like, look, we also had our own person. This person is equally strong. There are people who actually believe and follow this person. How much leverage do you extend?
Actually, Dennis, that should be celebrated. Actually, people should just stop somewhere where they are and clap for that spirit of united opposition. That actually is a plus. That you can decide you are 10 parties. If you have given certificates to people to go and run, but finally you come down. Look at Mbere. People felt very bad when we withdrew our candidate because they wanted us to go and crash, especially the state people. They were very mad that we withdrew. You know, how can you? DCP came in, sorry, can win a seat. You should start with the more. But we are saying we are not selfish. It's not about us. It's not about DCP. It's about the common good. Look at what happened in Marava. Everybody was sharpening their knives. And the state was very happy with their candidate of UDA. But what did we do? We are sharper. We are better. We know what happens. We know the story. Told by Rinjiru of 1992. Way back when Special Branch literally planted Matiba. Printed his posters. And mobilized people with buses so that he can see the people and decide to run against Kibaki. Then Moi got in with the minority. 92, 97. So now that we know, Dennis, we will not fall into that. Please, now that we know. So that something should be celebrated. And what happens in Marava? We had 2 strong candidates, Seth Panyako, Edieka Busiga, and we came back. We said, what is a win-win? That is a spirit, that is a warm-up, Dennis, for 2027. We are going to see a lot of that.
So the decision is based on what exactly in that instance?
One, the overriding spirit is the issue of united opposition. Number one. That is the spirit. Such that now anything else comes. What do? We have 2 candidates here. Everybody is on the ground. We have 3 weeks to the by-elections. We need to present to the people of Western, of Marava, a united front. What do? Come back, discuss, and everybody is happy. What happens? Seth Panyako wins the seat. Busiega gets to get nominated on DCP after the 2027 elections. Everybody is a winner. Then we go to Kisa East. DAPK withdraws his candidate. DCP for the ward now. Kisa East is a ward, is a by-election there. Then DCP runs. What happens to the guy who withdrew? He is accommodated somewhere. That is what you are going to see going forward, and everybody is happy. And by the way, Dennis, nobody is complaining. You get it?
Nobody amongst yourselves.
Nobody among the people who in that deal is complaining. Both parties are not complaining.
Okay.
The candidates are not complaining. That is what you are going to see going forward. The issue of give and take and accommodating every other. That is something should be celebrated.
And let's agree.
Should actually take a moment of silence.
Let's agree.
That was a good thing.
That is
a moment. I'm sorry. Did you say that we should take a moment of silence and
no?
celebrate?
Let me ask you. Why is that? Why is that a bad thing? It's a good thing.
No, I just need to clarify that you ask us the whole nation to sit.
No, like
a small group of people have made a decision about how the future will affect them. and not necessarily how it will affect 50 million Kenyans. And you need Kenya to take a moment to celebrate that.
Let's balance this
I need to
discussion.
understand.
Let me be very specific here. Here's a question about how comes we have two parties, two candidates vying for Marava. I'm giving an example of Marava, right? Then we go back and decide, as united opposition, we are going to vie one candidate. That particular act needs to be celebrated, because the other way would have been that all of us go there as united opposition. We have 2-3 parties, then we lose it to UDA. And this is something which you are going to see a lot going forward. But don't allow me, because there's something you had asked, please, so I don't get lost. You asked, so you guys are coming together, all these coalitions, to go and get 140 MPs and senators, for whose interest, for who? Let me just clarify, because I'm very passionate about delivery. So let me tell you, we lost a big opportunity in this government. I was in delivery. We had planned it so well. By second year, the plane ought to have gone to the skies.
Okay.
By that year, people ought to have removed their safety belts and begin moving around. That is by 2025. We lost a golden opportunity. I can tell you this today, that if only 50%, let me put 40, of
Even take 30.
what we had planned, because what happened though is that we went to every minister, told them, guys, Kenyans are very impatient rot. We have a youth badge here. We have all these issues. Industrialization is a mess. Everything. And we came with plans. Every ministry. I was there. We met ministers, we met PSs, and about 100 senior leaders, civil servants. We told them, guys, stop all this. Get us 3 things only from every ministry. 3 major things that can bring up this economy. We went, presented them, and the drama started. If only we did what we... So, what are we getting power for? Because I can tell you for sure, seated here, we are going to get the next government. For what? That's the question we're asking, though. So that we can come back and quickly, no stories, no many stories here of theft of public resources, using public programs for private need. We simply go, and by the way, you not hear stories. We are not coming here with 10 pages, 50 pages, things called manifesto. We are going to be targeted. Is it health? Remove this thing, get back NHF, upgrade it. Simple. Education system, we are going for which one? Some of these things I'll tell you today, sit here. Though we need only administrative political goodwill to hammer 60% of the problems we have in this country. Only political administrative goodwill. Somebody who believes in themselves, somebody who doesn't think that they are sent by God to come and help to save us from our own problems on this earth. Somebody who doesn't think that they are worse than everybody else. Once though we can do that, on the first few days, we'll sort over 60%. They just need administrative action and political goodwill. So we are getting power. Why we are doing all this? So that we go get a president who is not inferior. Somebody who let ministers work like the Kibaki era. Somebody can go exercise their mind with the civil servants. Bring programs and projects that are targeted for the people. It is possible. It can be done. We have lost 5 years. We are just dancing around here. Moving around. Nothing. I can tell you this. If you don't do anything by 2.5 years, you cannot deliver anymore. Add it to political toxicity. It's done.
Doc, I was actually saying something to buttress what you're saying. ODM says Western is a stronghold. It has not fielded a candidate in Malava. So let's also see it that way. Because they are working with the UDA, they have not fielded a candidate. For that reason, the united opposition is also looking at it and saying, wait a minute, what does it mean if we keep having different candidates? So there's a balancing act going about that. But I also want to say this on this show. The interests that are on the ballot have nothing to do with the interests of Kenyans.
Exactly.
That is the fact. Right now.
Finally.
Wait. Let me make my point. Don't worry, I'm making my point. Right now, the university sector is in a mess.
If we started to list
the
things,
education sector, from primary to second to university, is in a mess. The health sector is in a mess. I don't know where the economy is, because I'm told Mbadi has stabilized things. I don't feel it. Now, the unfortunate thing is this, and I hear where it's coming from, is that we are off the script. And for that reason, this is not the time to ask in Malava whether we're on the script. The script in Malava is simple. What is the best thing to do for now? Find a united position against this. Yeah. So that's okay. But back to where we are. Is 2027, and maybe that's where they are going to have the interests of Kenyans in mind as we go into that election? Of course, the issue also is, what does an average Kenyan want? And how is that Kenyan going to express themselves in 2027?
And how are they going to get what they want?
In part, I agreed when Baba decided to go to this broad-based government, because there was a statement he was saying. He said, look, I have come with values. I have told you what I want. You have said no. So why don't I also join what you guys seem to like, which is this one? So he says, okay, let me also work with this government. It's yours. Let me also work with it. And then they start telling him, oh, you see what. So at the end of the day, we have to look at it that way, that where is the Kenyan? And what is the Kenyan likely to be doing? And this is what the point is making. And let me say, when you look at the mountain, for example, are they voting with their interests in mind, or are they just voting individuals? And I can tell you, they are voting with their interests in mind. And generally, blocks come on the table to represent their interests. Who represents the Kenyan interest? That's another question.
And that's what is going to form my next question, because here we are jostling for power. We will team up with this team just so we get to power. But Kenyans are equally speaking, and some of our listeners as well who are following up are saying Kenyans 2027 are voting for good governance. They're not voting for parties. They're voting for good governance, those who will come and change their situation. So even as political parties work things around, are they working things around with the mind of what Kenyans want, or what it is they want to achieve? Because one will tell you that today we find ourselves in the mess that we are today, if that's the correct word to use, the mess we are today, because of what Rigathi Gachagua did to put William Ruto in government. The first years of the Kenya Kwanza administration, Rigathi Gachagua was squarely there. And he says he was duped. What stops him from being duped again? Why would Kenyans trust him that he would not be duped again? Why would Kenyans trust that he has their best interests in heart?
Let me say this, and this to me is the point, that Kenyans are looking for people they can trust, whose word they can take to the bank. And they think and remember Kibaki. He never spoke much, but he just focused on the economy, and it worked for people. The Gen Zs that are giving us the democracy today and demanding accountability are the products of Kibaki's universal free education. So we are harvesting. We can kill them, but their spirit, we can't do away with it. Now, having said that, what Kenyans are also clear about is that, and I want to give an example, and I want to credit this some of these thinkers in Kenya Kwanza. The idea of beta, the bottom-up economy, resonated with the Kenyan. They saw the message, and actually they voted for the message. What they were not sure about is that the message and the messenger were aligned with them. The bottom-up is not a bad program. It makes sense.
If you do it,
it makes sense to everybody, because you are saying that you want to work and uplift the bottom so that everybody is a player in the economy. The problem is what happened between the talking and the action, and what has happened from the text. Now we are being told of 4 trillion infrastructure. That is a far cry from the bottom-up strategy. So what happened in 3 years to bring up this somersault? It is whether we can trust, whether we can believe, and whether we can again have confidence that what we're being told will be done.
I think to answer your question, this is what I think. Of course, Doc, there's an argument you put that Baba thought you voted this government, it's your government, then I'll come and help you. Okay, well, that argument is subject to further discussion, because then if you don't believe in something, you don't come to it because it's in the government. That's another story altogether. And but I would say this, Dennis, people are voting for good governance. I agree. I just said it. People want a working government. People want a government where systems and processes and procedures are out to work, not to kill the constitution, kill systems, kill processes. That is a fact. But you've just said something. And what do Kenyans want? Things I've stated here. Every government in the world is elected to do 3 things. Only, basically, health, education, and security. Basically. These things about water and roads comes after. But those are the three basic things. Where we are at right now, so if you walk out here, everybody has issues with the three issues. People are being killed, you know. We thought, you know, we read a lot of movies from Uganda, of course, Tanzania. You see, 160 young people killed, buried. We don't know how numbers now in Tanzania. You know, all these bad manners. But then I can tell you this. Dennis, we will not keep on talking here that like the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua was duped. Now, it's not him that was duped. It is the Kenyan people. Because the marketer, the PR guy, came with he used to talk like 5 minutes talking about how young people get jobs. So, who duped who? It is him who duped Kenyans. Yeah, it's him who duped Kenyans.
And Gachagua is a Kenyan, so he was also duped.
That is it. Exactly. All of us, many people are duped. So, look here. Why concentrate on the person who duped others with saying something? Let me tell you something. Nothing changes. You cannot change a human being. He knew that I must come up with something. Market so badly, then I would not do it. When I get to power, I will accumulate wealth. For example, power. I will accumulate. I will try to get everything. So he knew. So it is him who should be calling out for duping Kenyans. It's not the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. And by the way, people came out. He was a first-time MP and all that. Listen, the moment you ascend to become a deputy president, you go there. I mean, there were other many people who didn't make it. You get there, and then you already in a position where you can say other things. So that's why we said in a year or two, God was able to expose him. We are now building another party, another movement. One, consolidate, you know, your strength. Go make friends and build a movement that is going to transform. I can tell you, they seated here. We sit in strategy on DCP and the official opposition. I can tell you, we have heard the cry of the people. We know what Kenyans want, not many stories. Anybody who is interested with making money and what I call primitive accumulation of wealth, they can go to another place. It's going to be done. This dream will not be deferred again. 2027 is clear. We know. We are very clear. But one thing, I'm not going to tell you with Dennis here. Or every time you are being asked, oh, what is your agenda? We have clear, not just agendas, 10 issues. We know what Kenyans want. It's very simple. We were part of this thing of coming up with these manifestos. We know it's just sitting down and just agreeing. Coffee reforms, milk, sugarcane, cotton. We know. Everybody knows what needs to be done. One day I was sitting somewhere and the president said that he wants a goat to be slaughtered one day, and then he's going to wear a shoe made out of Kenyan, hide and skin. It's now here. But Doc also. Let me tell you something. What Kenyans feel. That Lau was supposed to come and join that movement of trying to light things. But again, politics being politics, Rigathi, for him to exist, Rigathi had to go, all these kind of things. Here we are now. Why are we going to go back there? Remember, Ruto was going for Azimio. He was going for Raida for the 6 million votes. Right now, he's just left with ODM, shrinking every day. Remember, Western is out. That's why you cannot find. He buys ANC. So Ejedi was ANC candidate. Now, there's nobody in opposition in serious. But then, how comes? Let me ask you, when did Western become a stronghold of UDA? Since which year? Like how? Now, and Western goes for opposition every day, any day. They never vote for government. Is out. Kisii is out. Masai Nation is out. Kamba Nation is out. A lot of Coast is out. We are taking all this. So, finally, what is this that Ruto went to begin with from ODM? Just left with the Luo Nyanza, which Baba, when he was vying, 66% was the turnout in Luo Nyanza. 66%. Now, as we were free, we were ready even to do away with it. Because we are saying, even if he was to support Ruto, he would get only about 30%. Turnout in Luo Nyanza. We are good. We have Millennial, we have Gen Z, we have Akina Babu. Look at how Kalonzo was celebrated in Bondo. Look at how Sifuna was celebrated in Bondo. That is the future of this country.
So back to the tyranny of numbers.
Back to the numbers.
I have no problem with that.
Our time is going up, but I mean, in terms of that last question then, Dr. Lowe, so would it be fair of us to say that the numbers and the dominance is what is being fought for, and that there is no full appreciation of what Kenyans really want?
Again, we need to be on record. Democracy is not a game of quality. Democracy is a game of quantity. The majority take it. And that if you want to win an election, you must mobilize numbers. So that's absolutely important. I want to agree with the doctor here that the game has changed with the exit of Baba. It's not just going to take ODM. No. The spirit of ODM left with Baba. So when you do that, it means that even they in opposition are free. to walk and ask to be supported wherever Baba was. And essentially, Baba's spirit is with the opposition, and you know it. So go get it, because you know what he stood for, you know what values that he cared about, which are not likely to be promoted by this government. They're not being. So his time has come. He's gone. Politics still here, and we must talk politics in a different way. So yes, 2027 is coming. The group that organizes better, mobilizes better, protects the vote, and puts the right message to the people will have their say.
Will have their say.
Of course, we must agree that being being an incumbent is going up a hill.
Yes.
No, it has an advantage, but you start by going up a hill,
yeah.
because people already know you, people know where you've come. So convincing is more difficult. It's easier to convince when you are outside, even when you are inside, because remember the president used to be deputy president, but you would speak like an oppositionist, and people believed him. Now it's easier for people outside government to convince the voter
that they're better
than those
represented.
inside. So he has to work harder, and the opposition also has to work harder, but the opportunities are open for Kenyans to benefit.
Interesting times indeed. Dr. Peter Mbai is the Secretary Planning and Economic Affairs, DCP, and Dr. Martin Olo, Advocate and Political Analyst. Thank you for being here this hour. Interesting times ahead indeed. We'll take a break now, and we'll look into Sudan after 9. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
5 bob? These days it doesn't get you much, but